Hi Carl, hi everyone. So, by now hopefully you've gotten completely wrecked by this level. So, I'm just going to take a minute to show you all what went on behind the scenes in the editor. Because, unfortunately, me giving you this video is the only way you can see that now that Nintendo has removed the ability to view downloaded levels in editor. I'm going to try to keep this short. I'm going to focus only on those things which either you could have dodged and missed completely, or the contraptions that you saw happen in the level, but never actually got a chance to see how they worked. So the first couple of things that you may have dodged if you weren't exploring were on the opening screen. There's a fake dev exit on the left side, which isn't really a deadly troll. All it leads to is bonus music and a message that just says no. You may have noticed that when you went through this pipe, there was a bomb that exploded directly above the pipe. This was actually to encourage people to go into the other exploration troll on the first screen. So assuming that somebody screwed up in this room, they may get it into their head to try to use the pipe to reset. If they attempt this, however, they will be blocked by launchers as they come back. At this point, their only choice is to YOLO jump out this way. If they do, they'll see this vine, and may be wondering...
Is that cheese?
It's not cheese.
I give up! I give up! I give up!
But I will give you a couple of bonus power-ups and some yay sound effects for your trouble. You can't get any of this stuff out of this area. You may have noticed that after blowing up this section of wall, a bomb goes off up above. To open the wall up here, to allow exploration this way onto the star, and ultimately introduction into Kaizo blocks. The problem is this wall needs to be solid all the way from the top to the bottom in order for the scroll stop to happen. Once you blow up the bottom wall, this block on the track flies in and hits the bomb, which will blow up the top section of the wall, allowing exploration that way. This next part is by far one of my favorite and one of the most interesting trolls in the level. There are three main contraptions involved in this section. The first is the one that releases the mushroom when you hit the on-off block. This bomb will go off immediately when the switch is turned on. When this block blows up, it makes the spring bounce up into the shell, which knocks it into the note block, which releases the mushroom. This is the contraption that sends the vine down on the left side after you hit the switch block. When you come in here for the first time, the switch will be in the red state, spawn blocking the sideways spring from appearing. However, when you come in the pipe from above, the room will be in the blue state. The spring will spawn, and will continuously bounce the shell into the on-off block. Also of note in this section is the note block on the track down here, which will bounce the launcher on the left up. This POW spawns later than the rest of the contraption, so I'm actually going to move it up above the contraption so that you can see how it's supposed to spawn naturally. This tracked firebar will fall off the track and push the thwomp below the lava. After that happens, this contraption will push the bomb and the spring over to here. The bomb will blow up, letting the spring fall. The spring will be ever so slightly to the left of this space right here when it falls. This explains how the shell is able to bounce back when you kick it into the lava, because it hits the spring instead of the POW. As I said though, this contraption is set up such that the spring and the bomb and the thwomp spawn before the POW. All of the getting the thwomp pushed down and the spring ending up on top of it happen before this POW shows up, and then this POW spawns here and falls onto that contraption. Interestingly, this pushing the thwomp below the screen trick only seems to work in the lava theme. I was under the impression that lava and poison were pretty much the same thing, but if we test it here, you'll see that the thwomp actually falls off screen and dies. This next section uses the exact same contraption as the previous one. The same thing will happen here, where the firebar will push the thwomp down below the screen. and I get wrecked by fish. Where the firebar will push the Thwomp below the screen, which prevents the other Thwomp and everything on top of it from continuing downward and dying. A subtle troll that may be missed is that once you jump across here, this P-switch does nothing, and standing in the last spot next to the wall will allow the flying P-switch that comes down to land on the track and crush Mario. As you can see, there are coins below the lava. Those coins down there are what kills the lower Thwomp and allows the upper Thwomp to do its thwompinating. This launcher and bomb blow up the top coin block here after the P-switch goes off. Once we hit the P-switch, that Thwomp comes at us and smashes the wall. However, because of the way that it's positioned, the Thwomp itself only actually breaks the bottom 2 blocks of this wall. And I needed it to break all 3 blocks for the next troll. The next troll, of course, being the munchers that the Thwomp delivers here. There's also a fish on a switching track up here, above the corridor that you run through, which will drop the fish on these blue blocks after the switch has gone off. So normally, Mario will get pushed out in the direction that he's closer to. However, apparently, if Mario is directly in the center of the block, he can still get softlocked.
No, that's not going to work.
This bomb and this cannon here will fall and blow up these 4 blocks, giving the player the choice between the pipe and going up above the red blocks. Just in case he dodged it, what happens if you go through the pipe is a wonderful little anti-softlock minigame with falling claws. You have to climb your way up through the claws, which is not easy until a couple of seconds in. When bringing this Thwomp over, you can get stuck down here. And in this case, I needed the screen scroll to be preserved, which means that I needed to prevent this bomb from taking its little journey and blowing up this piece of wall here. This Thwomp will move upwards slightly and blow up this bomb only if you start climbing the vine. And without this bomb blown up, this block won't be blown up, and this muncher will not move. So as you can see, the bomb gets blocked by the muncher and doesn't actually go where it would normally go. On the other hand, if we trigger the Thwomp first, what happens is that the bomb can then walk through and will land next to the wall, setting off the on-off switch, opening the screen scroll, and triggering the sad "you did it wrong" music. In the "which one do you see" section, the screen scroll is released by a bomb up here and a bomb down here. Just in case Carl immediately picked one here and didn't check any of the others, they're non-deadly. All that happens is that they're covered by invisible blocks with the buzz sound effect, and the only one you could do is one. This next section is a simple setup. Just switch block, note block, 2 springs, and a muncher. And a spring falls from above to bounce the piranha over. For this next part, with the switches that automatically switch once you go past the one-ways, many people assume that this is a Thwomp. This assumption would be incorrect. Thwomps are too slow. It's actually a mole. As soon as you walk past the mole, it turns around and instantly explodes the bomb. For this last section, I don't know if Carl trusted the level and went fast or not, but if he didn't, you would fall down this shaft and be greeted with a pipe. This pipe leads to a CP1 fake-out scare. You go in this side pipe, and you'd get an instant reset. This would be true for either of the first 2 sections. Both of them will lead back to the same reset pipe, and both of them are just a CP scare. This left one does nothing, the pipe leads nowhere. Your only choice is the right one. There are red switch blocks spawn blocking the launchers and the springs, which bounce them up just in time to save the player from the checkpoint. As for what was in these question blocks, the first two just contain one-up mushrooms. The third one, however, contains a bomb, which will open the top of the section and allow you through to the top pipe here. Neither of these two pipes leads anywhere. I'm not aware of a method by which to clip through this final note block. However, just in case somebody found one, I gave you a fish block to kill yourself. All of the tracks here are just to make sure that the bumpers spawn at the same time so that the timing for the ending anti-softlock is consistent. One thing I'm particularly proud of about this ending is the way that I hid the flagpole. The color of the flagpole and the color of the top of this semi-solid are the same color. And the donuts, which are there for aesthetic reasons, are actually there to cover the extra couple of pixels that do reveal the flagpole there. The only other thing worth seeing in the editor is this message. No one will see this. I put it there just as a cute little Easter egg for nobody to find, because Nintendo doesn't allow us to edit things that we have downloaded. So with that, I think you've seen everything that there is to see. So thank you all for watching, and I'll give you back to Carl.